Our enemy is a fallen creation who hates those who embrace their identity and create with God. He chose the wrong story and tries to make us do the same. Hey y'all, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad we came at it in today. Today I want to do a quick book review of The Story of With by Allen Arnold. This is kind of like a craft book, but not exactly. It is not like a how-to per se, but it's more of a inspirational book, it is a mix of an allegory with nonfiction, and so it sounds like a strange mix, but it really works. So anyway, I'm going to dive into some of my thoughts that I had while reading this. First of all, I've never read anything by Allen Arnold before, so this was a new author to me, and I was really excited to dive into it. But I've heard a lot of good things about his writing, so I was very excited to try this and see what I thought about it. So the first thing, as you can probably tell, there are lots and lots of inspirational, thought-provoking quotes throughout this book, and I spent a lot of time putting on sticky notes and marking this book so that I could find the quotes that I liked the most quite easily. There's just a lot of good quotes in here. So essentially this book is about moving from the orphan realm, or what he calls the orphan realm, where you are just going through life on your own, to the freedom realm where you are creating and doing life with God. And he has so many mind-blowing quotes throughout here that are just like, they really touched me very deeply. Let's see if I can find one that stood out to me. So one of them on creative fellowship is, we need relationship with God and we need relationship with others. One without the other is less than what we were created for. And I felt like that was a very interesting quote, especially having gone to Realmmakers and experiencing fellowshipping with other believers who are also creatives and getting to have that just incredible experience. That feels especially poignant there. Oh, this one's a good one. It says, our enemy is a fallen creation who hates those who embrace their identity and create with God. He chose the wrong story and tries to make us do the same. And isn't that the truth? Sometimes we're afraid and we struggle to go through life because we think we have to do it on our own. But the reality is we don't have to. We can do it with God. And that is the right story. That's the story that we are called to as creatives and as children of God. We are called to freedom. We are called to do life with God, the almighty, all-powerful God who can do all things according to his will. And we don't have to do life alone. And it's really incredible. But our enemy wants us to believe that we have to, and that's our only way, and that we can never be accepted into the freedom realm, because he doesn't like that we are in this power, that we have God on our side. And so he would have us not join the freedom realm. And then lastly, one of these quotes was, do you really think the creator of time won't give you time for what he stirred you to do? And that's convicting. Yeah, it can feel sometimes like we're running out of time. But the reality is, he is the Lord of time, and if he has stirred us to do something, he will give us the time to do the thing he has called us to. So anyway, those are just a few of the quotes that stood out to me as I was reading. So if you're wanting a book full of inspirational, thought-provoking quotes, this is it. This will give you that. The next pro I found of this is, it's a really beautiful picture of what it looks like to create with God. Because basically he takes this one girl or one woman through a journey of experiencing, going from the orphan realm to the freedom realm, and experiencing what it is like to create with God versus how she felt beforehand. And it was really just an incredible story of moving from one point to the other and showing in a very clear picture what that looks like. So I really appreciated that transition. And he does so, and this is another point, he does so in a very interesting way. I don't know if I've seen it done before, but he mixes allegory with nonfiction. And so half of each chapter is an allegorical story following the character Mia and her journey. And then the other half of the chapter is a nonfiction description of what happened and how it applies to our own lives. And it was just a really unique way of telling this story and providing this information. It was very interesting, unique, and I really liked it. So the only problem I had with this book, and it might not necessarily be a problem, it's just part of storytelling, is that in some instances it felt a little simplistic. And what I mean by that is Mia's journey felt like, you know, she would come up with a problem or come across a problem, and then, you know, immediately the solution would come and she would embrace it and move on. Which was done for the sake of the story. I mean, you can't really drag this out any further without it, you know, being dull. But the reality is, for a lot of us, these lessons that Mia learned along the way take almost our entire lives. It takes a long time sometimes for these lessons to really sink in and become part of us. So it felt a little simplistic in comparison to real life, but that's just the manner of storytelling. Sometimes they have to go pick up the pace in storytelling, when in reality these things might take a very long time for us to learn. So that was really my only qualm with it, and it's not really even a qualm. It's just, don't think that you'll be as quick of a learner as Mia, because we aren't. But Allen had to do that for the sake of story. So anyway, those are some of my rambly thoughts about the story of With. If you are looking for a great book to encourage you in your work of learning how to create with God, I highly recommend this. I think any creative, whether you're a writer, an artist, musician, any of that, would benefit from this, because we aren't called to do life alone. As believers, we are called to do it with God. He has called us to these callings, and it only makes sense to do them with Him. So if you are looking for a book full of encouragement as you walk through life, I highly, highly recommend The Story of With. And I'm excited to read some of his other books as well. He has Chaos, Cant, and The Waves of Creativity. I'm very excited to try those as well at some point in the future. But yeah, that's my book review. And that's going to be all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you would like to hang out with me elsewhere, I will also leave the links to my social media down below. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. I hope we can hang out again sometime soon, but until then, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye!